Hey guys, AJ Kassad here, and today I'm going to walk you through one of the most effective things we've done to improve our outbound results and the amount of leads and booked calls we get from cold email, and that is using AI personalization to make our messaging hyper-tailored to everyone we're reaching out to really stand out in the inbox and get them to reply, specifically with Clay. So I'm very excited for this because this is going to be like really useful to you. Like again, we've tested so many different things over the years, so many different tools, but out of everything we've tested at our outbound agency, this is the one thing that we just use repeatedly day in, day out that we've just seen give such a consistent lift to our campaign results across so many different clients. Maybe you've heard of Clay. Maybe you've already tried some things with AI to personalize your messaging, or maybe you're just even brand new to outbound. But either way, this video is going to help you with all of the above. I'm going to walk through how we do this specifically with Clay. If you're new to Clay entirely, I'll give like a very quick intro on it, but I'm really just going to mostly talk about how to use AI personalization. If you want to know more about Clay, because it does a lot of stuff to help you with your outbound campaigns, go to my channel because I have a whole mini course on Clay that's completely free for you guys. So there's a lot you can do with that. Again, if you're just seeing Clay for the first time, just go to the course on my channel and you'll learn more about it there and see what else it can do. But if you've already been using Clay, you're going to just see like how we're using it to AI personalize our messaging. Also, if you're new here, I'm AJ Kassad, co-founder of Revenue Boost. We are an outbound agency that's helped over 450 clients in over like 60 to 70 different industries. And I've run like just probably close to 1,000 campaigns by now. I've stopped counting after like 700. Everything I'm sharing is really based on data here and what's actually working for our clients to drive revenue for B2B companies. And also everything I'm going to share with you today, it's going to be more than, this tutorial is going to be more than just like, here's how Clay works or here's how the buttons work. I'm going to actually give you like examples of the things that we're getting the most value from and the best use cases we found to improve results. So I'm going to be walking you through like a simple example of how you can use AI in your campaigns, a medium example, and then a couple more complex and advanced workflows of some really cool things we've done with it. So yeah, aside from me just showing you how the tool works, I'm going to actually share with you like the most common ways we're using it and that we found results from. So anyways, let's dive right into it. So let me give you just a little bit of background on some of the best practices and some of the ways we're using it and the different types of personalization there are, because there's some personalization that's good, some that's pretty bad. I'm going to give you a little bit of overview, and then I'm going to spend most of the tutorial today actually pulling up my Clay and just walking you through step by step. And we're going to actually build a workflow like together here in real time. So I'm going to go through a little bit of information, then we'll actually just start our building. But it's important to have this context first. So anyways, what personalization actually means. Maybe you've received some cold emails or some other outbound messaging before on other platforms like LinkedIn or something that had some really bad personalization, like maybe some like very generic first line that like maybe looks bad or just didn't really have much to do with why they're reaching out. The best personalization is really relevant, right? So you can use personalization to have like a random first line that's personalized like a compliment. And yeah, sure, that's better than not personalizing it. But really the way that we use personalization is we try to actually tie it to the offer and make it relevant. So for example, let's say I'm running campaigns for a Google and Facebook advertising agency, which we've done a lot of those. Good personalization would be like actually looking up their ads or looking up their top selling product and saying, hey, I saw this ad for your product, like mentioning their product by name, and then just saying like, here's how we can help you promote that better, right? Or saying like, oh, I saw that you're actually not running traffic on Google ads, but you're running Facebook ads. Would you be interested to see how we can help you also get some conversions on Google, right? Like that's good personalization because you're not just personalizing for the sake of personalizing. That's the biggest mistake, right? You want to personalize with a reason, right? You want to actually find something relevant, an observation about them or their business that you can tie into your offer. That's the best. There might be some times where there isn't really like a good relevant case for that, depending on what you're selling. And if that's the case, you can resort to like the generic personalization, and it's still better than not having something because it still at least makes your message like more unique. But ultimately, you really want to you really want to use personalization to answer the question of like, why did I reach out to you? Why did I reach out now? And why does my product or service actually matter to your business, right? Ultimately, we want to send the right message to the right person at the right time. So the best way to use personalization is where you're actually like, I'll show you some examples in a bit and we'll build a workflow together here on the video, but you really want to use it in a way where you're having AI help you find a reason why that person would benefit from your product or service, rather than just coming up with a generic, first line of like, oh, hey, I saw your LinkedIn post or whatever, right? Now, here's why this is important. I mean, personalization was like always important, but it's way more important over the last couple of years. Here's how it's helping us in our campaigns for our clients at our agency. We're getting higher reply rates, more meaningful conversations because the messaging that we're sending across cold email and LinkedIn is standing out. More leads convert to meetings. Biggest thing is we get less of a spam perception. So nowadays your prospects are getting so many cold emails and LinkedIn messages and cold calls and everything else, right? So it's really hard to stand out from the noise. And this right here is the number one way to do that, right? And it makes you less likely to be perceived as spam because people really feel like, when you have a good personalized message where it's clear that you researched the person and their business and found a need and found a reason to help them, it really doesn't make you look like spam. It makes you look like someone who's genuinely helpful and someone that can add value to their business, right? And it makes it feel more like a one-to-one interaction versus like, you were just there, they're just part of some sequence and they're part of some list of 1,000 that you blasted with an email campaign, right? So people are always like more likely to respond to an outbound campaign if they feel like there's a person at the other end of it who sent them like an organic, one-on-one message rather than, again, just feeling like they're just a number on a list, right? You know what that's like. You've probably received a lot of cold emails where you could just tell the person just loaded you up with 10,000 contacts and sent like a generic message to everyone because you can tell they have no idea what your business even does, right? So you want to avoid that. It also helps you get stronger offer positioning, and it helps you position your offer in a way that really like feels perfect for that business, right? Ultimately, you want to make it something the message is written for them. So here's why a lot of personalization sucks. If you just say something like, hey, I loved your recent LinkedIn post and then move on to the message, it's not really adding that much value, right? Like this was working well, I guess, a couple of years ago because it was kind of like new. And now everyone does it. So now it just blends in, right? If you mention something that has zero connection to your offer with why you're reaching out, that's not very useful. And if you're just like forcing personalization for the sake of personalizing and it just makes it feel fake and unnatural, like an ingenuine compliment, that just doesn't really help you. And sometimes it can even hurt you, right? So again, there are times where if you really truly can't find a way to personalize your offer to the business based on whatever it is you're selling, then something gimmicky is like better than doing nothing because it at least makes your message more unique, and that helps with email deliverability, which we'll talk about in a bit too. But you really want to find personalization that's relevant to your offer, right? Here's an example. Hey, I saw that you're hiring several SDRs right now. I see that you have 4 job postings on LinkedIn. Scaling outbound usually creates challenges with lead research, and your salespeople are going to be having to do a lot of research, right? That's something we actually help automate. See? So we're using personalization and AI to find context about the business. We're tying that into a problem we can help solve, and then we're leading to an offer. So that's the big difference between personalization that feels relevant, because it's like, hey, I saw this and it made me think of this, and that's why I thought you'd want to know about this offer we have, right? It just like it all flows together very naturally versus the forced personalization that's just like, hey, I saw that you went to this college. Well, you should hire us to automate your marketing, right? So you ultimately want it to strengthen your value proposition. So there's 4 types of personalization, as in there's 4 different data points or 4 different pieces of information you can prompt AI to go find to personalize your message, right? So there's really 4 strategies that we use. One is the surface level or gimmicky. Like maybe you've seen some of this. Hey, I saw your LinkedIn post about XYZ. Now that could be a gimmicky one that's surface level, or that could be a one that's actually relevant, right? So let's say that I saw someone's LinkedIn post and they were posting that they're hiring for a customer success manager. If my offer had something to do with customer success, like let's say I was selling a customer service chatbot or an AI tool or something, then that's relevant personalization, because it's like, hey, I saw that you're posting about this on LinkedIn. Sounds like you're really trying to improve this area of your business. Would you be interested in checking out our customer service bot, right? That would be relevant because it ties together, right? There's continuity. Versus if it's like, hey, I saw you post on LinkedIn about customer service. By the way, do you need accounting services? There's just a disconnect, right? So you could still mention some of these things like a post or a podcast and have it still be tied into the offer. But even if you don't, these things can still at least get some attention. So like, if you do have like the gimmicky personalization where you just compliment them about their business, or you just find like something interesting about them, like who knows, maybe you did go to the same college as them. That's still better than nothing. That's still better than sending a complete generic template. Because at the end of the day, like it does stand out a little bit, and it does make some people feel like, oh, this person actually researched me, right? That's still better than nothing. That's why I still included it here. And we still do this sometimes, but it's not where we default to. Let me give you an example of a gimmicky one. We recently were targeting businesses in Orlando because we were selling carpet cleaning services, right? So we were doing cold email for that business for commercial cleaning, right? And in the first line, we actually called out a restaurant so we had Clay look up the leads area, like where they lived. And then we had Clay research like the most popular restaurant. And then we called that on the first line, hey, have you ever been to Gino's? They have the best broccoli rabe, right? That's something that, again, doesn't really have anything to do with the offer, but it's just kind of like sometimes these fun, creative ways to get their attention can work, right? Also, that example particularly works well for local businesses because There was also some strategy behind that. Like this business was based in Orlando, so we were trying to like build on the local connection in the report, right? But anyways, that's an example of like the surface level gimmicky stuff, which a lot of people, this is what most people do. Number 2 is business context. This one we do almost every time. So we like to prompt AI to learn about the company we're reaching out to, who they're selling to, like who their target market is, and then like their business model, like what their services are, right? And then we use that information to customize how we're presenting our offer. So we do this with almost every campaign. We do a customized value proposition, right? So if I can prompt AI to research about a business, then I can use that information to change how I'm like pitching our offer based like in the context of like how it'll specifically help their business. So very simple example. Let's say I'm selling marketing services. Instead of just saying, hey, we do cold email and we do LinkedIn marketing, etc. Instead of just like a generic line, I can have AI research about who the business I'm reaching out to, who they sell to, like who their target customers are. And I can say, hey, I saw that you sell to Fortune 500 CEOs. We actually have a really great campaign strategy that can help you land meetings with those executive level decision makers, right? So that's an example of how I'm now, using the context of their business to personalize my messaging, which works a little bit better, right? And you can go a lot deeper with that. That's just a very simple example. Number 3 is problem based. So this is probably I would say this and number 4 are like the best ones you can do. Problem based is if you can identify a likely challenge that relates to your offer. And this is easier with some offers than others. Remember before I gave the example of selling Google and Facebook marketing services? Well, that's an easy one to do this because I can basically prompt AI to go analyze the advertising, the business I'm reaching out to, right? I can connect to SEMrush and I can see if they're advertising on Google or Facebook or not, right? And if they're not, I can say, hey, you're not advertising here. A lot of your competitors are. Would you like me to create a plan for you on how we can help you with Facebook ads, right? And you can go a lot deeper than that, right? What would be another example of this? I mean, there's a lot of examples of this, but I mentioned before about like selling a customer service chatbot, right? Like an AI tool to help with customer service. Problem based would be, let me go look up on LinkedIn if they even have any people at their company that are in customer service. And if they don't, well, they should have at least some AI that's handling some customer service for them, right? So that's the case of, hey, I saw that you don't have this role at your company. Like I saw that nobody's working there doing this. Would you like to try out a tool that can do that for you until you're, ready to actually like hire a department for this later, right? So for most of the offers that work with outbound, you can usually find a problem, but there might be some things that are just completely like invisible, right? Like like I mentioned before about commercial cleaning and carpet cleaning, that one would be difficult to find a problem for. I mean, there's some possibility like we could scrape Google reviews and see if anybody's complained about like the place being dirty or a little run down, but that's really like a far stretch. There might be very few that have that. But see, that's an example of how you could find a problem, right? What would be another one? Or let's say that we look up a local business to sell commercial cleaning and we look on their website and we see that they're hosting events soon. That could be a problem-based one. Hey, wouldn't you like to have a good deep cleaning before that event comes so that people are getting a good first impression of your business when they come for that fundraiser this Saturday, right? So that's an example of looking for a problem that you can tie into your offer, right? I mean, yeah, like if you're selling anything like most like digital services, like agency services, like marketing services, web development services, consulting services, these are really easy to find problems for, right? But I mean, yeah, like let's say you're selling to an e-commerce company, you could check if they're launching any new products soon, right? Because they might post news about it, they might post on their blog, right? And you could tie that into your offer. So a lot of things you can do here, but these are really great because when you're messaging about a problem, it really makes the case easily for why they should have a meeting with you because they already are going to value you and respect you because it's like, wow, this person found a problem that I didn't know I had, right? Let me take a meeting. One of the biggest reasons people will take meetings with someone after receiving a cold outbound message is because they feel like they can learn something from that person. Like if your prospect feels like they're going to get an insight from you or learn something, that's going to make them very likely to take a meeting. Especially like CEOs, right? CEOs don't really have anyone to talk to, right? They don't really they're running the business, right? They don't really have anyone to talk to about their problems and like things they want to learn very often. So if you can offer some value and point out a problem, that's really going to position you as an authority. And then number 4 is trigger based. So if there's like a certain event, if there's like a certain new thing happen, this is kind of similar to problem based, but they're a little bit different. I mean, there's crossover, but trigger based is like a recent event, like a new role. The trigger based would be, let's say I find out that let's say I use AI to research and I see that their CMO just left. Like their CMO just quit the company and they're looking for a new one. Well, I can personalize the message saying, hey, I see that John just left the company. Sounds like maybe you could use some help with marketing in the interim. Would you like to talk with us about our marketing services or our fractional CMO program, right? Hiring, funding, product launch, right? So trying to find like a recent change in the company that indicates it's a good time for you to reach out to them. And you can also combine all four. So those are the main types. And I'm going to actually go into my Clay in a bit and just like show you a couple of examples. So the best thing you could do is you should think like a great salesperson, because if you were reaching out to prospects manually, what would you do? What would you research? What would you say, right? That's the best way to think through personalization. Is you want to just actually think like, if I was reaching out or if I was hiring a salesperson and they were spending time to like personally research these prospects, what would they look for and what would they say in their outreach? And that's what you want to replicate with AI, right? And that's really the right way to think about AI in general. Like we use a lot of AI across all departments of our company, Revenue Boost. And we help our clients do the same thing, specifically in their GTM and sales. And the wrong way, like most people use AI the wrong way, where they try to just invent new things to do with AI just because AI exists. It's like, oh, well, AI can do this thing. Let's try that out. That's not the right way to use AI, or that's not the best way, I would say. AI is just a tool. It's just like software, right? It's a tool to make your work better and easier. So use AI to enhance existing workflows, existing business processes that already work. That's why I'm saying, like, think about what a salesperson would already be doing and then just automate that with AI, right? So in this case, it's faster research, better insights, and better personalization. So here's, I would say, my favorite use case of using AI for personalization. We use this across like there's some examples I'm going to show you in a minute that are a little bit industry dependent, but this one works for pretty much every industry, right? Have AI analyze the prospect's business and the prospect's role, and then also what the company does, and then generate a personalized line about how your product or service will specifically help them in the context of their exact business. Here's an example line below. This is a fairly surface level one, but you get the idea. Hey, I notice your team sells to e-commerce brands. Tools like ours help help companies like yours automate personalized outreach to those brands, right? So, I mean, you could make it a little bit better and go a little bit deeper, but that's like the general thought process, right? So I'll show you an example of this in just a minute. Last thing I'll say is what AI personalization really is think about it like segmentation. So what good outbound companies do is, and just what good marketing companies do in general, regardless of the channel, is they segment their audiences, right? So like if I'm doing outbound, I would have a campaign for SaaS companies, a campaign for e-commerce companies, a campaign for agencies. Rather than like putting those all in one, I would put those in separate campaigns, because then I could have slightly different messaging for each one and I could really speak to their pain points better, right? That's good, but that's still broad, because you're still going to have like different types of e-commerce businesses in there and different job titles you're reaching out to, right? Like a CMO cares about different things than like a marketing manager. But with AI personalization, it's almost like you're segmenting every lead into its own campaign, right? Because you can have tens of thousands of leads and each one gets a unique message. So you're really getting the benefits of segmentation just at a way higher scale without taking the time to build like 10 different campaigns. So that's that. Hey, real quick, how would you like a free 7-hour mini course on exactly how to start and scale outbound campaigns that book you appointments and get you clients? If that sounds good, then click the link in the description and download it real quick. This is free, my gift to you as a subscriber. And definitely download this unless you hate leads and you don't want to grow your business. If that's the case, then don't do it. But otherwise, grab it and put it to work right away. I mean, this is literally so action-packed, so like straight to the point. You can pretty much just go through the whole course in a day, implement it tomorrow, and start getting booked appointments the next day. So it's very, very easy to follow. Grab the link in the description down below. Hope you enjoy it. And also, if you don't want to do this yourself and you would actually just like to hire a team to run outbound campaigns for you and book you sales appointments, then there's also a link in the description to book a call with my team and I, where you can actually just see what it would look like to have us just do all this for you. Anyways, thanks for watching, and let's get back to the video. Let's walk through some examples in Clay now. Hope that was a good kind of overview to like the framework and the mental model of personalization and some of the most common use cases. But let's actually walk through how this works, and I'll build a couple of examples. By the way, I have this document here. That has an exhaustive list of triggers, like those trigger events I mentioned, as well as personalization opportunities, like creative things you can use Clay and AI to personalize. A lot of different examples here. Me and my team created this initially for brainstorming. If you want this, there's a link in the description to a cold email mini course. It's completely free. And as part of the mini course, you'll get this to help you with just coming up with ideas like for your target market. So definitely just grab that link in the description if you want to get the course and then get this document as well. But anyways, let's go into the example table. So what I did here was I built a list of companies. In this case, I have HVAC companies, like contractors, right? So I built a list of companies in Clay. I'm not making a video here about list building. So I'm assuming you already know this, but if not, just go to my channel and subscribe. And there's other videos I've made around how to build lists using tools like Clay and Apollo. So anyways, I have my list, I have my emails, yada, yada, yada. Let's talk about how I would customize it. So let's use an example here of selling AI automation services. So basically like, okay, I'm going to be selling AI automation services. Last week, I was just presenting on a workshop about this. So this is fresh in my mind, but I was helping a group of business owners who sell AI services like voice agents and chatbots and AI lead generation. And here's an example of how I would use AI to personalize that. So the first thing I would do, so I'm going to just show you the output because I want to show you a finished example of how this looks. And then I'll show you how I built it. Okay. So I created 2 columns here. In Clay, you just pretty much click use AI and you can add a new column. And you can make that column do web research, or you can have it write content. It's harder to do both those in one. So I usually split it up into 2 columns. So if I want to research something about a lead or a business or even the specific person I'm reaching out to, I'll click on web research and then I'll prompt it here on what I wanted to learn about this person. And I'm going to go through like how to make these prompts in a minute, but just real quick so you understand the high level. And if I want to have AI actually write an email or write a sentence in an email or even just write like a phrase to insert an email, I'm going to click create content. And then I'm going to prompt it here on exactly that, right? So let me show you the output. I had basically AI first give me full research on this company. So I basically prompted it to go to these HVAC companies and give me a full detailed essay about how their business works, right? Company snapshot, who they serve, business model, contract role, blah, 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 blah. Now, this is obviously not going to go in the email. If I was going to email someone or call them or LinkedIn, like I don't need all this information, but I'm using this column to basically give me the data to feed AI, which is in the second column, which is going to write the email. So generally speaking, when you ask AI to do too much, it's going to mess up. When you have a more complex task for AI, such as research this business, figure this out, and then write an email, you're better off splitting it up into different steps because AI works best when it's very focused on a singular task, right? So in the second column, now I have a prompt where I'm saying, hey, go to this response column, right? So I'm basically referencing, I'm having AI reference the company snapshot we just came up with. So it's like using the other AI's research, right? And I'm saying, hey, based on this, write me a personalized email, right? And make sure you include their first name in it as well. So now look at the email, right? Check out this. Let me just put it in notes here so that you can see it a little bit bigger. Let me find a better place to put it. Okay, let me just copy and paste the email in your notes so it's easier to see. So this is the email AI wrote for me. Hi, Timmy. I came across your company. I was impressed by this. So basically, I'm just referencing a couple things on their website, and then I'm even referencing the market they serve. And then I'm just getting into a customized creative, we call this the creative ideas campaign, where we have 3 ideas for them. So I'm saying, here's a few ways that AI can streamline your operations and enhance your customer experience. AI-powered voice agents, reputation management tools, proactive database reactivation. These tools could save you time, increase conversion, and strengthen customer loyalty. Would it be worth a quick conversation? Now, this is pretty good. By the way, this was the first try. So I just put in a prompt and this is what it gave me. I would usually spend a little bit more time to fine tune this. I think where it could be better is I'm going to refine the prompt to tell it to mention specific details about their business when it's giving these ideas. So for example, if they serve residential customers, I would just maybe I'd rather have it say like, when homeowners call you after hours and you don't answer the phone, this will capture leads so that you can still get them a quote in a timely manner, right? So that's how I would prompt it to make it a little bit better, because the more that you can call specific details from the business, I mean, the more that it really looks impressive to who you're reaching out to, right? Even on the first try, this is pretty good. So with this email, I actually had AI generate the entire email. I don't usually do that. Usually we'll have AI generate one line, but because we had so much context about the business and a really good prompt, I decided, hey, let's just have it write the whole thing. But I'm still giving it a format. I'm still saying you should fit this like template or basically do it like this, right? This is a great campaign. If whatever you sell has like multiple applications, like the way that like whatever service you sell, like the prospect could use it in different ways. This is a really great campaign because you're really like even if the person doesn't reply, they now have learned something. They've gotten value out of your email, right? So that's really cool. So let me show you how I built this. So what I did was I actually used ChatGPT to come up with a prompt. So one of my favorite ways to come up with AI prompts is just to use AI and tell it what I want it to do and have it make the prompt. You could go to the general ChatGPT window and just do this for coming up with the prompts in Clay. But I actually have a bot I use. I created this bot called the Outbound Strategist and Clay Expert. If you download our free mini course in the description, you'll get this as well. All I did was I just spoke into it. I said, hey, I want to make an outbound campaign targeting HVAC businesses selling AI services. We help with X, Y, and Z. What I want is I want a list of keywords to plug into Clay. So this was more for when I was building the list. So I had this bot. This bot helps you actually build the list in the first place. Then I said, then I need you to generate me 2 prompts. One that's going to research their business and give me a detailed summary. And then I need another prompt that's going to reference that research and write me a good email. And that email should include 3 ideas on how we can specifically help them, right? So now it gave me the list building keywords, which is really great. So I plugged that right into Clay. And then now it gave me the prompt here too. So here's what the prompt actually looks like. You are researching a target account contact for cold outbound campaigns selling AI services. Your job is to analyze this. You're going to use these inputs. This is the goal. Here are the important rules. And here's the output format. And I modified it a bit because I just wanted 3 ideas, right? And then the second line is the email writing prompt. Write a cold email to the HVAC prospect using the research below. I changed these inputs. All I wanted just to reference the research column, like the output of step 1. So I just changed that. Goal, write a personalized email that feels research specific. Use these rules, structure the email this way, and only return the email body, no subject line, no quotation marks. That's important because sometimes AI will give you it'll talk to you. It'll be like, hey, here's your output. But you don't want that because you want to actually upload this right to Clay, which I'll show you how to do next. So it's important to specify how you want the output. Basically, every AI prompt, no matter what you're doing with it, should have, what you want, like what the goal is, right? What you're trying to get delivered to you, how it should get it. So you want to give it some guidance on here's how I would recommend going about this task, right? And here's kind of the guidelines and the rules for you. And then context, like any supporting information that'll help it do its job easier, like inputs like this, right? Like examples, inputs, etc. So that's how I just went through. I literally just used this bot I built, which again, you can get for free in the description link. And I just talked to it. Like just one prompt was pretty good. And now I just copy that in here. But hopefully you can see how this works in Clay, right? Like you have one column that can research anything about the lead. And I put the prompt in here. And this is the research prompt, right? So this is the same thing I just got in ChatGPT. And I'm basically calling the column here, right? So I'm saying, hey, go to their website here to analyze their role. And then based on their job title, tell me what they care about. So you see here, I'm having AI research the business. So we have information about the business. And then I'm having it research the job title because I also wanted to provide information around what does this job title care about? Because then I can personalize the email based on what matters to that person in their specific job role, because different job roles care about different things. So you can see how this is making really, really good emails, right? And this column is saying, hey, based on that research you did in column D or whatever, write me the personalized email. And that's pretty much it. So that's an example. So now let's go over a couple more examples as well. I'm going to write a really simple one. So that's a more complicated one that I prompted before making this video because I just wanted to have it done to show you. But let's actually make one together that's simpler so you can see how I think through it. Let's say that I just want to understand the main service the business sells. I'm going to say research, help write a cold email snippet referencing the type of prospect and service this business sells to. Inputs. So I'm going to call the domain, actually the company summary, right? If I didn't have this company summary, I could also just say, hey, go to the domain and figure this out. So quick tip here. This is important. For very simple prompts, like if I just want to find their ICP or the main service they sell, I don't need 2 columns where one column does the research and one column does the writing. Usually then I could just do it all in one because it's a really simple task. So it's okay to ask it to do a little bit more in one. The more complex the task, the more you want to split it up. So I'm going to say this is the input. Your job is to explain the main service they sell, and the output should fit. It should always be structured like this. I saw you sell in location. So I can even prompt it to the location, right? Location name. Only structure the output exactly like that, and always use specific language from their business about their core service and target market. Example. Actually, examples are, so you can go down to, I think I'm on web research here. I need to go to create content. You can go to examples here. So the best thing you can do is provide examples. Usually I do like 2 to 4, but this is really useful. I mean, you can put this in the prompt like examples, but it's just better to put it a little bit down here. So let me just create an example. Custom example, get rid of that. I saw you sell air conditioning repair services to homeowners in Tennessee. So now let's see how it goes. Save and run 10 rows. So you'll see how fast this is. So now we look at the response. I saw you sell HVAC, plumbing, and electrical to residential customers in Greater Seattle area. That's great. Now let's look at another one. Stockton, California. Awesome. So I probably wouldn't want it to say the state because that would look a little bit weird. Like a human wouldn't say that. So now I would probably reprompt it and I would say only give me the town, don't give me the full location. But see, for a very simple use case like that, just one quick prompt and it's pretty much good to go. Homeowners and businesses. So let's say I'm selling like a marketing service, right? I could use this as a first line and say, hey, we can help you get more of those customers. Or hey, we just help someone else sell heating and cooling services in London, right? So that's an example of how this could be used as a first line, right? Now, let's go over one more example. Let's say I want to create just a customized value proposition. So this is like referencing their business. Let's say I want to create a line that pitches our product and service, but explains it in a way that matters to them, right? Okay, so I will go to use AI. I'll make a prompt. I'll just go into my outbound tool here and I'll say, now generate me a simple prompt without any inputs. I'm going to put the inputs in myself. Generate me a simple prompt that gets Clayagent to output a 1 to 2 sentence value proposition about our services, customized towards the context of the business. So it's going to reference the research column we did, which I'll input myself. And I just wanted to basically pitch our AI services in 1 to 2 sentences, but use specific details from the research we found about the company. So you can see what we got here. Very simple. Here we go. It's giving me a few different versions. That's why I like this bot. Okay, cool. So now let me go here. Let me go to create content. I'll just put the prompt in here. I have to reference the research, right? So company summary. That's why I like doing the company summary first, because I can do a lot of different things with that research, right? With AI, it's all about the data and the research you give it. And then now examples. So normally, again, I'm just doing this quickly over this video because I don't want to make this a 2-hour long training. I have other trainings as well on my YouTube channel, but normally I put in 2 to 4 examples. So I put in specific examples, usually with variety, like include a couple different businesses or industries here, for example. That way AI uses this to make sure it matches its output to this. So anyways, let's see how this goes on 10 rows. So as you can see here, this is an example of a fully written email. This is an example of a part of an email. So I'm often not making AI write the entire email because I like to have a little bit more control over it typically. But there are times where we test that. So typically, if I would like write a cold email template, but then the first line I would just put a snippet in for like the first line variable, and then I would just include this. Or there's times where we've even had AI just put in like a specific word in a sentence, right? Like I mentioned before, we had an example where we were selling to e-commerce companies and we wanted to reference their top selling product in the subject line. So we just prompted AI and said, hey, go to their website and tell me what their top selling product is by looking at the one with the most number of reviews. And then in the subject line, we just put in the name of their top selling product within an existing sentence in the subject line. And that was a really great way to stand out, right? Okay. Here we go. So now let's see, Cardinal Services can leverage our AI solutions to capture more demand. So this is pretty decent. So the one thing I would improve this is I would reprompt it and say, hey, go put more specific details from their website and from their business to make it really like hit home the fact that we researched them. But there's a few in here, right? It says, hey, these strategies will help your company increase lead conversion, reactivate dormant customers, which aligns with your focus on sustainability, customer satisfaction in the UK's HVAC sector. Okay, however, see how it says there? It says aligning with their focus on growth. It should say your, because this is a personal email. So now I would go back into AI and I would just add a rule like, make sure it's in first person. We are sending this as an email to the business owner. Also reference specific details from their business in the value prop. Do not make it generic. Again, this is usually why putting in a couple of examples really helps to get it right. But anyways, that's how I typically go through the process of optimizing it. So I'm always checking at least 10 or 20 rows. Now, if you want to add this to a campaign, to a couple different things, you can basically export this as a CSV. And these are just going to be columns like a spreadsheet, right? Like these are just going to be columns you can upload as a personalized variable and instantly. So just like how if you put in like, you know, first name in brackets, when you upload a CSV file to your email marketing tool, it's going to reference that first name in each email. Personalization works the same way. So this column would be its own variable that I'd put in brackets. This column would be the same thing as well, right? Or what I'm often doing is uploading to instantly. So I put add lead to campaign. So I have my instantly connected to Clay. So I would just do this in the column mapping here, right? I have to actually click a campaign, custom variables. So this is where I would do it, right? So I would call this like, let's say custom value prop, which is that last one we just did. And I call it this one we did here, the response. So now when I upload these leads to instantly, this is going to be a custom variable that I can, use in the template, right? But also you can do this by downloading the CSV and uploading to instantly directly. That's essentially how you actually put this into practice, right? So Clay is helping you do the research on each lead, and it could find out like literally anything you want about a lead that's publicly available online. And then it's helping you use that research to write a phrase, a sentence, or an entire email, right? Now to wrap this video up, let me show you a couple of crazy examples because I promised you to show you a couple of more complicated ones. Here's a really cool one we built for a recruiting and consulting company. This had 72 columns. So this one is really, really long, as you can see here. But we did a couple of things here. One, we wanted to analyze their open jobs. So this company helps people with hiring construction technicians. So we use an enrichment called Predict Leads to find open jobs, and then also checking on Google if they have open jobs. Now, this is really important to see this example here because in the previous examples, we only used AI to research the company and their people to find data through web research, right? But you can also have AI research anything about a company using tools, right? So Predict Leads is a software tool that Clay integrates with. And this basically tells you like it integrates with tools like Glassdoor and Nextdoor and like those job posting websites, like hiring websites. And then it tells you if they have jobs, right? And you can see here that these people have 10 jobs and it has all the details, right? So all these details here, this is all information that I can feed to another column that's going to actually write the email or it's going to write a sentence. And then here I'm just adding formulas to basically like, tie it all together and kind of summarize it. So now I'm summarizing here what's a job they're calling out, right? I also extracted the URL. So Predict Leads gave me a bunch of messy data about what jobs they're hiring for, but I wanted to call out one specific job and also find the URL of that job. And then also find out where that job was from. And I'm separating this all into different columns because this is all going to be different parts of my email, right? It's not going to be like, I don't want AI to write the entire email. So with this data, I can send an email to this person saying, hey, I found your company because I came across your project manager role that you're hiring for in Maryland. Here's the link of where I found the job post on bamboohr.com. I noticed that this job has been open for a couple months now, and it seems like you're having trouble filling it. Would you like to talk about having our company help you hire this role? So see how as a staffing company, you can send a really personalized email because you're referencing a problem like, hey, I see you're hiring right now, so you probably have a need for staffing. I'm also referencing the specific job to show that I've done my research. And then I could even Predict Leads would give you the job date posting. So you can filter for jobs that have been on the market for a while and then say, hey, this is a problem. You're obviously having a hard time filling this, right? So, and then here I'm just having AI take that messy data and organize it, right? So I'm saying, hey, I found your job posting on Bamboo HR, right? Again, these are all going to be little snippets, little custom variables that we put in the email that we upload instantly. right? This was a more complicated one because predict leads give me very messy data, and I wanted to have multiple things I called out in the whole email sequence, and I need to kind of like parse all that out from the predict leads knowledge dump, right? And then we also founded their company service. We wanted to reference, hey, we've helped basically. So this is one we do a lot as well. We reference their business type and we say, hey, we've helped a lot of other heavy equipment companies in your area, so we can help you too, right? So that one works for pretty much any industry, so we called out that as well. Another cool personalization we had here was we looked for other people at their company that are in charge of hiring. So in one of the last emails, I think it was email 4, if we didn't get a response from this person, we said, hey, I see you haven't responded. Should I reach out to your CEO, Sarah, instead? See? So then this is like a personalized snippet that we're including in the email, right? And that's kind of a neat personalization because it really shows that we're a real person reaching out to them, right? By the way, here's the full output of that very complicated multi-step workflow. I saw on LinkedIn you had 161 job openings in Colorado, Pennsylvania, and others. For example, this and this. And then we would go into the pitch and the rest of the email, right? So we had to kind of pull together a few different data sources to get that. But I wanted to show you this example because it's a little bit more built out, but also because you're not always going to use web research. If you want to integrate with any tool on the internet, like any software tool that can give you business intelligence, Clay has all these different enrichments, right? All these different sources here that you can use. If you click view on enrichments, there's a bunch, right? You go to integrations, and these are all these different software companies that you can access through Clay to find information about a lead or a business. If there's something that's not easily available from like the internet or their website, right? And also we even had Clay analyze their recent LinkedIn posts to also had to create a personalized line like, hey, I saw on LinkedIn that you're this. So we had Clay analyze their LinkedIn profile. We had to analyze their posts and then complement that. And if there wasn't a post, we had to analyze their LinkedIn profile to try to find like some kind of cool fun fact. Again, this is the gimmicky stuff, but it's, sometimes we test this and sometimes it can actually work well. People kind of find it pretty neat. And this was just in the PS line. So we weren't leading with the gimmicky stuff. We were leading with relevant one, but we added this in the PS just for more personalization. And sometimes we include this stuff like this just to have better email deliverability, because the more personalized your emails are, like the more unique each email is, the better email deliverability you get. So a lot of times we're just throwing some of the generic stuff in there just for that sake. We also personalize the first line. And yeah, so this one had like a fully 4-step personalized emails. Actually, on my channel, I have a video I made that breaks down this workflow in way greater detail and specifically how we called all these different sources. So if you want to actually like get deeper into this specific example, go to my channel, go to the Clay course, and you'll see that video there. I'll also link it down below. But anyways, wanted to show you this one because this is a more built out one. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. This was a full walkthrough of how to AI personalize emails with Clay, the best practices, the do's and don'ts, the most common use cases we're using that get results, and then a few examples. So I hope this was useful. If it was, let me know in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this on this topic or other topics, just let me know in the comments, and I read all your guys' feedback. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Hey, I'm AJ Quesada, co-founder of Revenue Boost. Really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, make sure to leave me a comment and definitely subscribe right now so that you're notified of all the cool stuff we're doing, all the cool tactics, tips, and strategies that we share here on the channel. We help B2B companies scale to 7 to 8 figures. We've helped over 400 clients, and we can help you too. And we share some amazing stuff on the channel here. So really hope you enjoyed. And if you do, let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe. All right, back to the video.